Light can only travel so fast through wires.
Yeah.
Pretty fast. It can go pretty fast, but
I mean,
only so fast.
God, I mean, if I could get from Colorado to Boston at the speed of like that, doing that clap would be kind of cool.
Be super, super cool.
Yeah. I like want the transportation technology like from Star Trek. I want that shit so bad. But I'm afraid like as a kid I thought it was cool, and then I realized, or someone explained to me the science of it, that it's like
you die and are like cloned or something.
Oh God, I didn't even hear that. I just heard that
it's like
they like break
like
you down and then rearrange you. Oh shit!
Yeah,
Like Prestige.
Somebody explained it. Yeah, the Prestige.
Oh,
it's basically the Prestige. You're just like killing yourself, and then
God, it's just like a copy
a
of a
version
copy.
of yourself shows up. So, yes, a version of you shows up on the other end, but that initial one was just like, no, wait.
I'm just imagining like The Fly, you know. Although knowing my luck, I don't know. Like, I don't know where I was going with that. I mean, because like knowing my luck, it would be a fly. Like, there's like really nothing exciting about that, unless you're a scientist and would want to study me. This specimen turned into a fly. A human fly. I just imagine that's how all scientists sound that are into weird shit.
Yeah.
I remember
they don't have a normal voice, that's for sure.
Oh, no. You can't even get to, like, evil science college without having a weird voice. Or like, hi, I'm Brian McKenzie. No. Sorry, Brian. You gotta go. Yes, I'm Igor Bartholomew. You are in. You got it, kid. See, we can't teach that. So, Suicide Squad.
Yeah.
This is kind of cool because we had two different experiences, I guess, because you went to a theater.
I saw it in IMAX.
I sat on my couch.
A proper ass IMAX theater.
Dude, was this your first IMAX experience since it all went down?
This may be my first IMAX experience since... Oh, geez. When's the last time I saw an IMAX, like a... It's been like 4 or 5 years.
Holy shit!
Since I've been to like a proper IMAX theater. Yeah. I want to. The last movie I have a clear memory of seeing in IMAX is The Force Awakens.
Oh yeah, that's 2015.
And I probably have gone since, but that's the last time I remember sitting in like the IMAX theater and being like, that's a big screen.
You didn't catch any like Infinity War or Endgame in IMAX?
So I'm trying to think. So Endgame came out when Max was like 5 months old. And I saw that. Me and Sabina took turns going to see it by ourselves one day. So we just I went to the theater to see it, but we did not an IMAX.
That would
theater.
be torturous. Like if the other came home and like you'd have to hide your expression, like like how was it? It was fine. Like
yeah, that's kind of like what I did, and then she left. I just remember because it was like I took a day off of work because I was like if I go longer than like the Monday or Tuesday after the opening weekend, I'm like I need to see it. So I think I took like Monday off from work. And I went at like 11 a.m.
God,
and it was great.
Oh, yeah. Still a good way to see it.
But yeah, man, IMAX is great. And this movie, I think, was shot on like digital IMAX cameras.
I thought I heard that, yeah, that this was kind of
so
intended.
It looked fucking good. That was and since people are rightfully afraid of the coronavirus, there was only like 30 people there, and I went on a Saturday night, so it was great.
Oh, cool. So you're able to enjoy and practice social distancing.
Exactly.
Can you imagine? You know how when you go to get when you have to go to some theaters and you have to buy your seat, like you have to pick it. Like, can you imagine if like some other guy like accidentally bought the seat right next to you and like the theater wouldn't refund it? Like, no, you have to sit here.
At least in this situation, they could have sat literally anywhere else. I did sit in the exact seat that I pre-ordered.
Nice. You're like, damn it, I picked this.
Right in the center, in like the top back.
Nice. Oh, that's a good seat.
It's a good spot.
I don't even know why they make seats in the front row. Like, who the fuck wants to sit in the very front?
I have seen movies in this IMAX theater in Providence, Rhode Island, in the front row.
Oh, God.
And I'll tell you, it is not a good experience.
That's...
Because you're looking straight up, and you have to, like, turn your entire body side to side to, like, see what's happening.
No, I don't even see the point. Like, what is the point? Like, you may as well tell me it's sold out.
Yeah, or, like, just... Yeah, I guess it's just someone's going to end up having a bad time, and they're going to buy the ticket if they're desperate enough. And I've been there. It's a bad time.
Yeah, I vaguely remember sitting in the front row of a movie, but it was like American Pie 3, so...
I've sat in the front row, I don't know. I mean, I've been to movies so many times, probably like 10 to 15 times, but it sucks.
Yeah.
It's always the worst. Sometimes it's not terrible if you go to like a small theater. You're in like one of those...
Oh, yeah,
like,
and they understand the space
theaters
between you and the screen where the front row is not like...
And, like, it's not like stadium seating, like one of those old movie theaters. The screen is, like... It's big, but it's not, like, crazy.
Yeah.
So the front row, it's just, like, sitting in, like, a rich person's home theater.
Yeah, kind of Coolidge Corner, or, like...
Yeah, something like...
Oh, good times. But, yeah, I'm excited to talk about Suicide Squad. I think... it's really cool that James Gunn got to do a DC property. And, you know, I think it's kind of like that whole blessing in disguise a couple of years ago when some jerk pulled up these old tweets that he had already apologized for.
Yeah, and they weren't like... It was just like, it sounded like a teenager trying to be edgy.
And who...
But it wasn't, like, outwardly, like, horrible, considering all the horrible things that were going on.
Yeah, I mean, you know, you look at certain politicians and the shit they say. I'm pretty sure not as bad as what James Gunn was saying. But, so yeah, then he got released from Marvel, and I was super fucking bummed. And then, I mean, I was happy for him that DC wanted him. I love that, you know, Warner Brothers was like, we don't fucking care. We know you make good movies. Like, we know you're gonna make us money. And, yeah, and this was very fitting. And I was a little concerned. I thought I was going to see, like, a DC version of, like, this Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah.
And
way different.
Yeah.
I was very happy that it was so different.
Totally. Great tonal shift. I did appreciate seeing a lot of Guardians actors in this. I feel like it wouldn't be a James Gunn movie without Michael Rooker.
Yeah.
And, yeah.
I guess I love... how this movie opens, because it's like all these people, like all these characters, you get to see them all, and then like at that point I like forgot John Cena and Idris Elba and stuff were like the main characters of the movie. I was like, oh yeah, these guys, and then they all just die.
Oh my god.
And I'm like, oh shit.
Yeah.
And then
I had a feeling like Nathan Fillion or
because there's Pete Davidson,
right.
Nathan Fillion.
I had a funny feeling they were gonna die. I figured Weasel might, maybe just for budgetary reasons. Captain Boomerang, I was surprised by, and I think that was Jay Courtney. I think he wanted out. I think he wanted out of these movies, and James Gunn was able to write him off. And not that Captain Boomerang is like a big villain like Joker, you know, but like. He's known enough. I mean, he's a Flash villain. You know, the Flash had a cameo in the Suicide Squad, so I always thought that they were going to work towards, like, a Flash, Captain Boomerang rematch. But you know what, though? I mean, the cool thing about Boomerangs is that, like, it's not like it's Excalibur and only one person can throw a boomerang.
Someone's just going to, like... find a duffel bag and be like, what's this?
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh, cool, a boomerang.
Yeah.
Throw it, accidentally decapitate someone.
Yeah.
And be like, I guess I'm evil now.
So, but I was like, oh man, Captain Boomerang.
So I never even saw the first Suicide Squad.
Yeah, probably for the...
Yeah, I mean, I heard it. I was wasn't missing too much. So I went into this. This was my first experience of Suicide Squad. I had seen Margot Robbie as Harley Quinn because I've seen Birds of Prey, which I also really enjoyed.
Yep.
And yeah, this is just a fun ass movie. It's like, it's really funny. The action set pieces are awesome. It's surprisingly gory. Yeah. And I feel like all like the character stuff is really good. Like every one of the like the main, what is it, like 6 or so, 7 of the Suicide Squad characters are like pretty well developed in that short amount of time.
Dude, fucking Polka Dot Man. Like, just a delight.
Yeah.
A welcome surprise. I had heard that he had like looked up like the worst DC villain, and that was one of them, and decided to put it in his movie, and I think it worked.
Seriously, just like, yeah, he worked like his weird, horrible power thing.
Oh
like,
my god.
Weirdly, like, was hilarious and made made sense in the context of the world.
Yep.
Like, he performed it great. Like, I loved King Shark. I thought he was this version of it. Like, I love the like Ron Funches like Harley Quinn cartoon version.
Yeah.
But I also loved this just like
kind of Groot like
lovable great white shark.
Yeah. Limited vocabulary.
Yeah.
And
John Cena and Idris Elba just shooting the shit with each other. Like, just give me that.
Forever. I know Peacemaker is getting a show, but if there was a Peacemaker like Bloodsport TV show, like fucking Odd Couple but violent, I would watch the shit out of that.
Because like, literally, like at least like 30 minutes of this movie is probably just them bickering, and it's great.
It's so good. It is so good.
Just like, I remember I like laughed out loud in the part when he's just like, nobody likes a showboat, and he's like, yeah, unless what they're showing off is rad as fuck.
Yeah.
And I was just like,
yeah,
he's right.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that he like begrudgingly admits to himself like, yeah. So good. I love Idris Elba. I'm always happy to see him. And I love that he was just kind of like, Bloodshot. No, what the fuck? Oh, Deadshot. Sorry,
Deadshot.
I love that he was like Deadshot. I was like, we won't recast. We'll just go with a different character. And
I like how they did his like guns, his like fancy transforming Lego super guns and stuff.
Well, like, and I love that they talked about how he put a kryptonite bullet in Superman, because one, I want to see that movie, and two, I actually remember reading that issue of Superman. I mean, he's like a nut in the comic, but way more likable. But yeah, I thought it was kind of Deadshot redone, because he's got a daughter and he's in prison and they're estranged and yada yada yada. But I thought this scene where she watches her dad on TV, I just thought was so cathartic. It was just like such a good.
There's so many moments like that in the movie, like the scene with Ratcatcher and her dad while like everything's happening.
I know.
It's just
and what a great cameo for Taika Waititi. Yeah. Oh my god, that was great. Yeah.
I like loved Ratcatcher. I thought she was great. I have the biggest crush on her now.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I looked her up on IMDb. She's been in nothing. She's like a Spanish language like actress in like TV shows. But
that's awesome.
Yeah, everything she's been in is just a Portuguese actress.
Well, she knocks out of the park.
But yeah, like I like she was kind of like the emotional core of the movie, because like she's not a bad guy. Like,
no,
she was just like trying to stay alive, so she had rats rob a bank for her, which is
kind of fantastic.
And I like how somehow she gets thrown into this crazy like over like superhero mission, but it's just like, I control rats. Like,
but you see what she can do with those, and true. She fucks some shit up. I was so worried about her rat friend.
Oh, I know.
I was like, if this
was it Sebastian?
Yeah, if
Sebastian?
If this rat dies, I'm gonna have a real fucking problem with this movie.
But then at the end, him and Bloodsport become friends. Which
that was
another
nice
great moment.
Yes. Oh man, and Starro. was great to
Yup.
see. That's something I never thought I would see in a live action movie.
Yeah, like just that whole. I loved like the little people zombie things with the little Starros, and he
Yeah.
like Starro spoke through like those people.
Oh yeah, no, that was yeah, I mean it was I really don't have a lot of bad things to say about this movie.
Me either. Like it constantly like played with my expectations in fun ways. Like the whole scene with Harley Quinn in the mansion with like that prince,
Oh god.
and then she just shoots him,
Yeah.
and she's like, "I made a promise to myself.
It's
Never in a relationship like this. I would murder or I would kill them."
Yeah, I mean it shows great character growth from Suicide Squad and Birds of Prey. You know, what was it? She got arrested because she was like speeding or something, like traffic violation.
Something like that. Yeah.
But no, and I loved how Harley was done in this. Well, one, I loved her costume was a little bit more comic book accurate. And you know, as much as I love high heels and fishnets, it was great to not see her like that. You know, that yeah, she wasn't sexualized. You know, not through that kind of male lens.
Yeah, I think it's like
male gaze.
it's almost like people realize that like someone like Margot Robbie is gonna be gorgeous and charismatic no matter what she's wearing.
I mean,
like I just said, I have a crush on Ratcatcher now, and she was wearing garbage bags and covered in rats half the time.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, no, it's true, and yeah, the same for Margot Robbie. Margot Robbie.
yeah, and like
yeah.
I also love that they didn't. This wasn't like a Harley Quinn movie.
Yes,
Harley Quinn was in it, and she kind of was on her own because she can kind of carry all the scenes she needs to on her own,
Oh, yeah.
which I thought was kind of cool, kind of keeping them separate. But
Well, I loved that she got herself out of prison. So she didn't have to be saved, but I loved how touched she was that they were going to do
were
it. She's
trying
like,
to
"No, I
save
can
her."
go back inside. Oh, so good. So good. But I was just thinking too, going back to Polka Dot Man, everybody looks like his mom.
Yep. Yeah, that was used so funnily every time.
Yep, and it was just the right amount. Where was it?
Because they only show it like 3 to 4 times
Yeah.
for like a couple frames. So
But I love when he looks at Starro, and it's just like,
yep, a giant mom.
yeah, I'm having a temper tantrum. No, it was really cool, and I was happy to see some people come back from the Suicide Squad movie. Was it Viola Davis as Amanda Waller?
Yep. Yeah, I thought all the kind of like people in the back in the office was kind of funny.
Oh yeah, and realistic because I can see people placing bets.
Oh, 100%. And yeah, I'm kind of glad that like they humanized those people a little bit too, like being like, "What are you doing? That's fucked up." Like,
Right? Yeah, that like we can only be okay with this for so long and so far. But I did also it was cool to see. Was it a Corporal Flag?
oh yeah, Rick Flag.
Yeah, was it Joel Kinnaman? I actually liked him in the Suicide Squad, the first one. So it was cool to see him back. Spoiler alert, hate to see him go, but I feel like that was kind of maybe another thing too. Like, can you just give me a bigger part and then write me out? I think because I kind of get the feeling that after the first one.
Yeah, I bet a lot of people in that first movie were pretty burned.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm still like, part of me wants to watch the first one, but most of me doesn't.
I mean, I'm trying to think of. Again, Margot Robbie.
Yeah.
She's worth watching it. And I actually thought, let me actually pull up.
But speaking of the first one, I David Ayer posted some long thing online
Oh
about
my
like
God.
his cut of the Suicide Squad.
Is that where he opens with like, my mom killed herself on Christmas, and I was
He
like,
basically talks about how he was like
nothing. No one gave
raised
me
on
anything.
the streets, yeah, or something. But then he's like,
it just seemed.
I mean, don't get me wrong, the studio probably ravaged that movie.
Oh, I have
But,
no doubt.
But yeah, it's just funny just because everybody got behind the Snyder cut, but no one's
Yeah.
crying for the Suicide Squad.
I read some of it, and I just thought it was like, I don't know. When I read it, it kind of made me think of how people respond to white privilege. Like, hey, nobody gave me anything. You know, it's like, oh, your movie sucked. Hey, nobody gave me anything. You know?
Yeah.
Raised in the streets. It's like, okay, nobody's debating.
Be like, hey, next year, if COVID is still ruining everybody's lives and HBO needs some content, maybe they'll throw you back in an editing bay and you can get your cut out.
And I'll watch it.
And yeah, I'll be home alone. I'll watch your 4-hour movie.
God, yeah. I was gonna say to Cara Delevingne. She plays Enchantress. I thought she was good in it.
In the first one?
Yeah. But that's really all I can remember. Honestly, the thing I remember most about the first Suicide Squad was coming home and watching the Batman animated series episode Mad Love. Because I feel like this is how Harley should have been portrayed. And I mean, while it was nice to see that, at least from what I can remember, it didn't look like the Harley-Joker relationship was that toxic. Like, he definitely seemed more affectionate towards her than, you know, berating her and abusing her and all that. But, I don't know. I like her more as, like, a feminist icon, you know, kind of coming through after a bad breakup and, you know, that's you know, and where she, like, feel like you're not really quite sure what side she's on, but I kind of think of her as like a superhero now more than a supervillain.
Yeah, I love the spot where Harley Quinn has ended up currently with the Harley Quinn show and these movies. Like,
yeah,
it's kind of like how like Catwoman is and stuff. It's just like Catwoman's not a good guy, but she's not.
I mean, she's not doing
a bad guy. Batman's not trying to, you know, lock her up.
Yeah, and it's not like she's poisoning Gotham with cat food or some bullshit like the Joker would, you know, like the laughing fish or whatever, you know, like,
The one thing that does bum me out, though, is that we never got to see, like, the Margot Robbie Harley Quinn with, like, a good Joker. Like, we never got to see, like, that a Mad Love movie.
Yeah.
Like, something where, like... Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm trying to think of who would be a good Joker to pair her with. I mean, if I could time travel, it'd be kind of cool to see her with Jack Nicholson, because I feel like he's the most comic book accurate. I don't know if the Heath Ledger Joker would want.
That seems... that Joker doesn't seem like he'd have any interest in any other human.
No. I mean, the Joaquin Phoenix Joker, I think it's just too sad for Harley Quinn. So yeah, I don't know. Maybe she just hasn't found her. Her, you know,
she hasn't found her Joker yet.
Clown,
Mr. J,
Prince of Crime, Charming.
Yep. But yeah, so the one thing that was cool about seeing it in the theater and knowing it was on HBO Max was that the second the movie ended, I had to pee really bad, and I was like, I'm going to watch the after credit scene at home.
There you go.
And I just dipped, and when I got home, I just fast forwarded to the end of that movie, and I was like, hey, Peacemaker is not dead.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I'm torn because I want to see theaters do well, and maybe I've just been spoiled by the times as far as instant gratification, because I would hate going to see a movie, be like, oh man, I have to wait 3 or 5 months for it to fucking come out on Blu-ray or whatever, and I can just buy it. You know, like, I love that I can just, you know, like with the Disney Plus, like, I mean, yeah, you pay $30 for Black Widow, but I mean, I can watch that whenever now. Like, it's not like...
I mean, and I kept seeing all these articles as just like, Suicide Squad underperformed. I'm like, of fucking course it underperformed at the box office. Like, half the country is experiencing like another horrible COVID surge, and the other half of the country is just like, I'll just stay home and watch it on HBO.
Yeah. I mean, I think this is definitely an interesting time, obviously, for many reasons. But I feel like with movies, like we were talking last time about, Scarlett Johansson suing Disney. Like, I feel like there's going to be a lot of like, I feel like this is like a interesting learning curve for everybody, where we're transitioning into a new era of how media gets distributed.
Yeah. And I feel like the at-home big release thing's probably here to stay. If I had to guess, they're probably gonna have to work out the kinks, figure out the best way to do it. Disney seems happy with charging $30. They made like $70 million or something.
And listen, I'm okay with that, because
I saw this movie by myself and I spent $24.
Yeah.
So I mean,
exactly. Like, like spending $30 is cheaper than buying 2 tickets for me and my wife. Popcorn, drinks, snacks, all of that. And depending on the theater, parking and all that, it's like it's cheaper for me, and I don't have to worry about, all the things I worry about leaving my house. I know that makes me sound like a shut-in, but, I'm not to worry about.
There's a lot of stuff to worry about nowadays, so.
Yeah, let's not that.
Yeah, I mean, luckily, I checked. I was like, "What's Rhode Island's COVID case looking like?" I'm like, "Oh, they've had 100 cases in the past week." I'm like, "That seems good compared to Florida's 50,000 or whatever." So,
God,
I'll wear a mask and I'll go see it.
Yeah, I just, oh God, I was so hoping we were coming at the end, light at the end of the tunnel, and now I'm worried about another lockdown. The amount of people not getting vaccinated, and then you got this Delta variant, and
I mean,
other variants.
Obviously, I don't want anyone to get COVID, but it's like, how many more people do you need to get infected just so we can get herd immunity? Just
yeah. Right. When is
I saw some stuff where people were saying the Delta variant happens so fast, it spreads so rapidly that a state like Florida could theoretically reach herd immunity in a month or two, because in Arkansas, everyone in Arkansas has COVID. It's crazy.
Yeah.
And it's I'm vaccinated, my wife's vaccinated, but Max isn't vaccinated because he's 2.5. So I'm just even if it's not terrible for most kids, it's you don't want your kid to get COVID, obviously. No. So it's
you don't want him to have so much as a stomach bug.
Exactly. When he just has a runny nose, it's heartbreaking. So it's
Yeah, oh God. But if that does happen to Florida and Arkansas, we would never hear the end of it. Be see,
well, that's kind of what happened. I don't want to go down the Florida rabbit hole, but it's just people were praising the governor of Florida because they had less COVID cases. I'm you had less COVID cases because your state can just go outside year round.
Yeah, and plus
it's you don't have a spike in the wintertime compared to summer. It's because it's the same all the time. It's in Massachusetts, come November, you're if you go outside, you'll die.
Yeah. And think of the people who are not going to a doctor. Yeah, so of course the numbers are down, because probably not a lot of people will be they're not gonna report it or go see somebody about it. But yeah, but if that happens, maybe we just never hear the end of it. The government try to tell us what to do, and we got immunity.
It's yeah, and how many people's grandmas are dead?
Ugh, yeah, for real.
So yeah, one of my
the
best
real
friends'
Suicide
mom,
Squad.
One of my best friends' mom is a nurse. She was vaccinated very early in January. She worked in Massachusetts. She moved to Florida 3 weeks ago. She got COVID within 2 weeks of moving to Florida.
Jesus
and
Christ.
She's vaccinated. It's a wild world down there in Florida.
That is bananas. That's the other scary thing too. Wait, so you're vaccinated, but you can still
the break. It's 0.002% of cases are people who are vaccinated. So it's still super rare, obviously.
Right.
And people who do get it that are vaccinated are healthy. So get vaccinated. You'll be healthier. Yeah, you'll feel like shit for 1 to 5 days, but yeah.
Not as bad as you would if you didn't have it.
Exactly.
Yeah. I meant maybe it just kind of feels because I remember when I got the shots, I wasn't feeling too hot. So maybe it's that, where it's you don't feel great for a couple of days.
You're sick. You got a deadly virus, but you're a little prepared for it this time.
But yeah, I mean, I don't know, I'm excited to go see Shang-Chi. That's fucking next month.
Yeah, I mean, as long as Massachusetts, New England stays kind of where it is or less for cases, like I'll still go to the movies.
Yeah.
And I can get tested at work once a week for free if I want to. So
that's cool. That they have that. They're they're talking about us going back to work in October. I seriously doubt it's gonna happen.
Yeah, So like I work in like the AV like live events department at my work, and like we have this big auditorium that I just basically made in my office. I'm just in it like basically by myself or with one of my other coworkers, and like we did 2 events in July with like a live audience, but there's like 40 people in this big auditorium, and then as soon as the Delta thing came up, it just like downsized again. I'm just like, I guess I can work from home again more, which is cool.
Yeah,
but
I was talking to Will Carey,
still a bummer,
who has been on the show in a little bit, but he was saying how I guess like, at his work they're like, yeah, we're not gonna have you come back in because I don't know. See, all right, October, starts around October, apart from spooky season, flu season. So I don't know. Like I feel like if you're gonna do it, we should have done it in like April or like May.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, I've seen the amount of mask wearing has gone way up in Boston. I went into a Target the other day because I just had to use the restroom, and I like went in and I like didn't have a mask on me, and everyone around me had a mask, and I had to like go back outside and look at the door and see if they changed the policy. And it's just like strongly recommended. I'm like, okay, I just need to pee, I'll leave.
Yeah, I just don't even. Well, I feel like I gotta wear a mask now with the fucking air quality in Denver.
Well, yeah, you're living in a smoky hellscape.
We're so close to California, and it's weird. Like I don't want to call it dreamlike because I don't want to romanticize it, but it's like.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen pictures people in like San Francisco posted from like last year where it was like sunrise or sunset, and it literally looked like Mars from Blade Runner 2049.
Yeah.
Like it was just red. And I was like, that looks super cool, but I bet it burns to live there. Like just breathing and existing. So
the sun looks fake. I mean, like, why is it red this time of the day? It's not. It's not setting. And the way it filters through the clouds, it's like cartoonish orange, like it doesn't. Because I remember thinking, like, why does it look like morning light at 2 p.m? It's weird.
It's just weird.
Yeah.
It's crazy how half the planet's on fire all the time.
Ooh, I'm on fire. But thank God for Suicide Squad.
Seriously, stay inside, watch Suicide Squad. Can't recommend it enough.
Really fucking good. I hope to see James Gunn do some more DC stuff, because I think this is by far my favorite DC movie.
Oh, I would say so.
I mean,
at least in the modern age, in the DCEU age.
Totally. Sorry, I should have clarified. Like, of the DC
post Man of Steel.
Yeah, I would say
I would say this. I'm trying to think what other movies there are that I even liked.
Aquaman.
Aquaman I liked a lot. Shazam I like a lot. Birds of Prey I like a lot.
Yeah.
Wonder Woman 1 I like a lot.
So that's like 5. I think those are the top 5.
Yeah, I'd say so. And then like everything, like then there's like the has potential bracket. There's like Man of Steel. There's some good shit in that. Had potential. They just fucked up Superman's dad.
It just should have been Chris Nolan directing it.
Yeah.
But
and then what else we got? Justice League? No. Never even saw Suicide Squad. Batman vs Superman is chaos. Wonder Woman 1984 is buh.
Yeah. I mean, but
hey, those 5 good ones are pretty good.
Yeah, I'm hoping an uptrend.
I'm hoping DC. Yeah, I haven't seen Joker yet. I need to see Joker.
Oh, dude, you gotta see Joker, man. I mean,
I'm home alone, so before I go to Germany in the next 2 days, I forgot I haven't seen Tenet yet, so I'm gonna watch Tenet and maybe then I'll watch Joker. Just get those 2 movies out of the way.
Maybe watch Joker first, because it's maybe Tenet. I haven't seen Tenet either, actually, and I own it.
So I randomly watched Inception like 2 days ago.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, Inception's a good movie. And I was like, why did I watch this and not Tenet? I'm like, I haven't seen Tenet yet. I just sat down and watched a 3-hour movie that I've already seen.
Yeah, I feel like, because I know, and I loved Joker. but I mean, it's obviously not a happy movie. So
Yeah.
maybe Tenet might be a good way to kind of cleanse the palate. But Joker, I loved it. It's too bad Juan isn't here because I know Juan like he refused to see that movie for the longest time. He was like, "What are they going to do next?" Like Lex Luthor in a meeting room cutting deals, and I'm like, I would watch that.
I mean, there's
watch the
something
Lex
for
Luthor
everybody,
movie.
so
So yeah, I don't know. But he also he said the Suicide Squad, while not in his like, I mean, he loved it, but I mean, I think for him, Shazam is still like the number one.
Shazam.
And I think I need to see it again because
I loved it. Like I just had such a good time watching Shazam.
right. Well, see, here's my thing about movies and how I grade them. One, do you make me forget I'm watching a movie? And what is the likelihood of me watching it again? And of all of the DC movies, that's always the movie that I have no desire to see again. And I liked it. So I think
I would watch it again if like somebody was near me and they're like, I haven't seen Shazam. Like, I'll watch Shazam again.
Yeah, I just think I need to watch it again. I mean,
yeah. But like, I would watch Suicide Squad again.
Oh yeah.
I would watch Birds of Prey again. Probably. I've already watched a bunch of the ones I don't even like multiple times. So.
Yeah. No, Birds of Prey. I've watched a few times since seeing it in theaters. I own that as well, and it's great. Hugh McGregor fucking kills in that movie.
He's so good in that movie.
Yeah.
He's so good.
Like, just... It's scary how charming and terrifying he is in that movie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm hoping DC, like... If they want to keep stuff loosely connected, sure. But I think if they just take the, like... Give directors... Like, let directors do what they want. And if they want to connect stuff, sure. If they want to just like hint at stuff, be like, yeah, he shot Superman. But you don't need Superman.
Right.
Just like make references like that.
Yeah.
And it's like the Batman with Robert Pattinson. Just like, I don't care if that's connected to other stuff. It's just a really cool Batman thing. It's like,
yeah.
We were talking about The Long Halloween. It's just like you read The Long Halloween and then you read like Nightfall. It's like, couldn't be more different.
Right.
Like stylistically, writing style, but it's the same character.
Yeah.
Whatever, just like everything doesn't have to have. It's like Marvel movies all have that same look. They all have the same template. Whereas like if DC, I've just been saying they should just go the other route. Like just it's like the Joker. It's completely isolated, kind of. It's different. It's like just go for it.
I think
just go buck wild.
I mean you could have it interconnected, but I mean I don't know, like the way. I don't know, like you could do like I don't know, like a series of Civil War movies. Yeah, it's all happening at the same time, but nobody has to fucking know each other and see each other. Like, yeah, I like the reference thing.
Even if there is crossovers here, but not, it's like whatever.
Yeah,
it's just like a different artist drawing the character this week. It's
yeah, no, I mean and I've said it before. You know, it's like I want to see DC do well. Like, I'm not a DC hater. But I mean...
Yeah, I mean, this week, like... Yeah, like, Suicide Squad's incredible. Like, I would put Suicide Squad above, like, more than half of the Marvel movies if I'm just, like, going through them. Like, it's up there for just, like, modern comic book movies.
Yeah. No, for sure.
And DC has the thing where they don't give a shit what the rating is. They're just like, oh, yeah, hard R, let's do it.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. I haven't really heard too much of DC fighting, or Warner Brothers fighting.
Well, yeah. So I mean, Suicide Squad, hard R. Joker is an R. Yeah, clearly they don't care. So maybe like a Batman movie, they'll try to make it PG-13 just because there's the appeal of Batman. But like, the Batman looks pretty fucking dark.
I mean,
like even Nolan's Batman movies were pretty fucking dark. Like, I don't know if I would let my like 4-year-old watch The Dark Knight.
No, but I feel like if you're gonna do, I mean, unless you're doing an Adam West Batman, I mean, like, I feel like Batman's gotta be dark, right? I mean,
dark, but like, I feel like a kid, like Batman the Animated Series is both dark, but also not like scary.
I don't know, man. Some of those episodes are pretty fucking scary.
I get, but I mean, like, I'm just trying to think, I watched the animated series when I was like 4 years old, and I didn't get nightmares. But I feel like, yeah, I don't know. I feel like just like the trailer for the Batman, like looks scary.
Oh yeah, no doubt. I can't wait to see it. Where we'll see it, when we'll see it. I mean, it wasn't like a year ago they released that trailer, because it wasn't like last August, like
They
the
released a teaser.
DC
It's
online con.
Let me see. Right now, it doesn't have a hard release date. It's expected at the beginning of summer 2022.
God, 2022. That'll be before you know it.
I know. Next week. The Zeta variant is ravaging Iceland. And
Yeah. You know what I just realized, though? Tomorrow we get What If.
I was literally just looking at an IMDb page and the What If advertisements on it.
Yeah,
I'm excited.
I am too. I forgot that was this week. I'm like super pumped about that. Cause
God, it's crazy how fast that stuff. Like Loki just ended.
Dude, I remember thinking back to January when WandaVision started, and I was like, oh, I have to wait another week? This is bullshit. And now it's like, that's done. Falcon Winter Soldier's done. Loki's done. Like, we're now going to be on our fourth.
Black Widow's out.
Yeah, Black Widow.
I just want a trailer for Spider-Man.
Bro, I checked the news. Like, yeah. You know,
it has to be Shang-Chi or something.
Yeah.
Or,
it's like, yeah.
I guess it's
Cuomo
Sony,
retired.
so maybe...
you know, they passed a stimulus bill. Where the fuck is my Spider-Man trailer?
When does the next Venom movie come out?
Oh, yeah. Did you see that trailer?
Yeah.
That
It looks goofy. I need to watch the first one.
I think, well, here is the great thing about the first Venom movie, because I thought that was going to suck. And it was a lot of fun. And I'm hoping it's the same thing, that they just embrace how kind of silly the concept is.
Yeah, it looks campy as hell. And I'm like...
I'm okay
right.
with that. And again, it's like, if you make me forget I'm watching a movie, I mean, that's like more than half the battle to win me over. Plus, you got Woody Harrelson as Carnage.
The trailer for the first movie had a very strong, like, early 2000s, I wear black leather, I'm super cool vibes.
Yep.
Like, I love The Matrix and, like, the Underworld movies and, like, all that, like, early 2000, like, edgy, like, you know, fantasy horror vibeness to it.
Yeah.
But this one, they're just straight up playing it as, like, a campy, like... What? I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, and I think it's cool that Andy Serkis is directing. I mean, you know, that guy built his career off of, you know, motion capture. So who better to, you know, guide actors through that than him? Yeah, man. But yeah, I want that Spider-Man trailer. It's still, you know, my only complaint about Venom and Carnage is that it still seems weird to have these characters and not have Spider-Man in it.
Yeah.
Wasn't Mobius supposed to come out too? Or Mobius, right?
Yeah, but like, who's waiting for that one?
I know, but Michael Keaton's in it, and I like, even if it's for a minute, and I want to see it.
Yeah, I guess.
I don't know.
There's just so much good stuff coming out always. At this point, it's just like, and I'm so busy with life that it's just like, it all just is already out, and I'm like, I don't have that, like, as a bored child that's just like, I have to wait how long?
Yeah, now you're like, Jesus, that's out already?
And I'm like, how many things do I need to see now?
Like Bob Dylan said, the times they are a-changing. But...
And then we got the live-action Star Wars shows are going to start rolling back up again.
Oh, yeah. Excited for... Yeah, I'm excited for all of it. We get Hawkeye this year, too.
Yep.
Which, after
the end of
Black Widow there, I was like, okay, now I kind of know a bit more about what the setup is. You know what I watched recently that I kind of have... I don't know if I want to say newfound appreciation, but I didn't, like, hate it as much, was The Incredible Hulk with Ed Norton. I have not watched that movie since probably, I don't know, 2010.
I may not have seen that movie since the theaters.
Yeah. Well,
like I think when I saw that movie, I saw a 12:30 at night screening. Like, wow. I couldn't even fathom the idea of going to the movies after midnight now.
I can't imagine going after 9.
Seriously, I saw Suicide Squad at a 6:20 screening. It was great.
Oh, that's awesome. But yeah, I mean, Incredible Hulk. I think because I think what made me enjoy it more was that General Ross is now back in the MCU. You know, I mean, like Civil War and Infinity War and Endgame and Black Widow. I mean, that's like 4 appearances, not counting the Hulk. And knowing that Blonsky's coming back, it's like, I don't know. Like I think it made me. I mean, it's still got its problems, just because everybody's got problems.
Everybody's got problems.
But yeah, it was fun. I think, and I still think the first half of that movie is fucking good. Like when he's on the run in Brazil and he's just trying to fucking keep himself calm and teach himself Portuguese and like that stuff was great. If the whole movie was like that, it's like, as soon as I brought in the love interest, it was like, okay, now we're entering.
Yeah, I haven't gone there. I did watch Spider-Man 1 and Spider-Man 2, the Sam Raimi films.
Oh yeah, I know you wanted to talk about doing a Raimi trilogy.
Those are great. I love those movies.
Dude,
they are so campy and they are so bright and colorful. And Sam Raimi is just all over those movies. Like those movies just ooze Sam Raimi that I don't think I appreciated until I like got older and like understand Sam Raimi, have like seen all his movies.
Yeah.
But like when he does like random like just like the camera movements and stuff, it's just like you can like see the DNA from like the Evil Dead like trickling in.
Dude,
and just the scene with Doc Ock murdering all the surgeons is just incredible.
Oh, that is a total Evil Dead scene. No, I mean, they're in every movie, including Spider-Man 3, there is at least one scene that makes me jump. Always. In the first Spider-Man, it's when was it like Norman Osborn wakes up and he was like, oh, like, or no, I think he wakes up and Harry Osborn's like, Dad, like, where you been? Where were you last night? And it does a weird like flash of the night before when he turns into the Goblin. I fucking jump. And while the scary bit about the him killing the surgeons was scary, the thing that made me jump is when Harry Osborn, when he hears like the thud, and he looks left and like the camera looks left and he looks right and the camera goes right, and then when he looks over the edge and that claw comes out, fucking jump every time. I'm pretty sure the third one made me jump. I can't remember when because I've only seen that movie twice for obvious reasons.
The Daily Bugle and Topher Grace turns around the corner and you go, ah!
Yeah, or just the Saturday Night Fever dance.
But also, so Willem Dafoe in the first Spider-Man movie,
phenomenal.
It's the best thing I've ever seen. He is like,
and he wasn't even their first pick.
Like he is like chewing the scenery and like
all the right ways.
He is so ridiculous in the best. It's like it's the most comic booky, like the scene where he like jumps up and goes like, hey,
yeah.
But he's not even the Goblin. It's just him. You're like, what a lunatic. This is the best.
No, and I love that he gives that like 150%. And he is
dedicated to being that crazy.
It's such a great performance because you think of the range that he demonstrates in that movie. When he finds out that like what they voted him out of Oscorp, he legit goes through the 7 stages of grief. Like in that scene, there's bargaining, there's denial, there's anger, and then an acceptance. So like I'm telling you, like they're all in that scene, and he delivers on each one beautifully. It's so good, and that's actually one of the reasons why I love the Raimi movies. Is because Norman Osborn is like in each one to some degree, and I just thought that was so smart. That he was just like
the through line for everything.
And like he was in Harry's imagination.
Well, yeah, like obviously Spider-Man 3, if they just removed Venom entirely and it was just like a subplot with Sandman, but like the real thing was like Harry and Spider-Man's big cathartic baboon, like that would have been so much better.
Dude, I wanted a Peter versus Harry movie. It's like because think about it, right? You've developed Harry for the course of 2 movies. When he was an ally, and then when he hated Spider-Man, and then when he learned the truth. Like I feel like when he figured out Peter and Spider-Man were one, that should have been the catalyst for the psychotic break, because it's like a paradox. Like how can something I love and hate be the same thing? and you could have done so much with like Harry tormenting Peter both as the Goblin and as Harry. Like a lot of the things I liked about Spider-Man 3 was when he's fucking with his personal life, when he makes Mary Jane break up with him, and then like Harry's there for him to console him. Like that shit's great. You could do. I mean, I know it's not going to sell the action figures, but I would watch the fuck out of that movie. Like just so.
Everybody
so
would have seen Spider-Man 3 if Venom wasn't in it.
Oh yeah.
Those were like the first two were like the most successful movies forever at the time. It's like people were gonna go see that movie. Like,
and I honestly think what made the first two Spider-Man movies was the villain. I mean, Doc Ock is a fully realized character in that second one. Like he is not. I mean, I know he becomes cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, but like you got to see who he was, like a loving husband. This guy wanted to make the world a better place, you know, bring new sustainable source of energy, you know, and shit happens as often does in life, but like you still kind of felt bad for him. So I mean, they didn't do that with Venom. You give Harry amnesia, like it was just, and also, and I know I've talked about it, but since we're talking about it, I gotta reference it. When his butler stumbles out of some fucking closet in their mansion and he's like, "Oh, Harry, I forgot to tell you, the night your father died, Spider-Man saved your father's life. He brought him in. He didn't do it. Okay, bye-bye. I should have said this 2 years ago, but, you know, I'm old." Like, it was just like, what kind of fucking writing is this?
yeah, that's.
And I know you're gonna watch 3 because you watched the other 2. So
I know.
So when that scene comes, you're gonna know what I'm talking about.
Watched 3 in a very long time.
And you know what sucks too about part 3 is that there's actually so many good things going for it. The fucking Sandman technology, the animation, crisp. That shit still looks good. When he's forming himself for the first time, like as far as I'm concerned, that's Academy worthy, like Academy nominating, like CGI effects. So good. But you could tell there was just so much producer influence.
Yeah, there's just too much. I'm so excited Sam Raimi's coming back for Doctor Strange. Like,
yeah, and Spider-Man's in Doctor Strange, and I feel like, I want Sam Raimi to get redemption, and I think him getting Doctor Strange is a step in the right direction because the guy makes great movies.
I just hope they let him be him.
I mean,
I want it to feel like a Sam Raimi movie. I don't want it to feel like a Marvel movie.
And if Sam Raimi's doing it, I want it to be a little scary, and by a little I mean a lot. I mean, if you can give me a horror movie, I mean, obviously, again, you still got to have the action figures. It's Disney, but I mean,
I just want to see the Raimi-ness in it. Like, I want to see shots that I'm like, that's a Sam Raimi shot. Yeah, I want to see.
Yeah. Oh, and there's Bruce Campbell. You know, like because it's just not going to be, Sam Raimi joint without Bruce Campbell. But I think this is a step in the right direction for him, and I hope it does well, because I love, dude, like, how do you not like Sam Raimi? I mean, the guy gave us Evil Dead, Army of Darkness, you know, and one of my all-time favorites, Darkman. You know, so, and what I love so much about his movies is that it's really like a love letter to Spider-Man, and after having read the first 100 issues of Spider-Man, it makes me appreciate his movies more.
Yeah, they're just Spider-Man in its purest form, like. Yeah, it's Aunt May is a 1,000,000-year-old woman who's always in distress. Peter is the fucking most awkward, nerdy loser ever. And even as somebody who likes Peter Parker, because you're the audience, you're just like, God, you suck.
That's the thing.
Nerd.
Yeah, no, because think about it. Because Peter Parker, especially more so in the beginning, and I realized this reading the books, was that Peter Parker in the beginning, not a good dude. I mean, a lot of bad shit happens to him. And even after he learns the great power and great responsibility, he's still kind of a shit. Like, he goes to the fucking Fantastic Four, and he's like, "Yo, we can be the Fantastic Five. How much you paying? We're not paying. Fuck this." Like, and bounces. You know what I mean? Like, he's just, and obviously not as heavy-handed in the movies, but I mean, you definitely had some great moments where he was being a dick and making the wrong choices. I mean, the scene in Six Out Spider-Man 2 when he sees that guy getting mugged and does nothing, like that's a fucked up thing to do. I mean, to like turn your back, and he knows it's wrong. And that's a great performance of Tobey Maguire. You know, it's like, you know, he knows that he shouldn't do it, and you know that he could at very least pull his punches so that, you know, he's not giving away that he's Spider-Man, but like you're still a member of society. You know.
The one thing I'll say, like the scene in Spider-Man 1 where the robber at the wrestling match is running past him and that cop's like, stop him! No fucking cop is gonna have a civilian, a child, a little boy, stop a guy with a gun. Can you imagine?
Yeah.
There's a guy running down the street with a gun, and there's like a 17-year-old nerd, and a cop's like, stop that guy! I'm like, what?
My tax
First
dollars
off, if
are
it was
paying
real
for
life,
you.
that cop would have unloaded 6 full handguns into that guy.
Yeah. But you know what, though? That line is killer, though, where the guy's like, oh, what happened? He had my money. And he throws that line back at him. Like, I forget the part where that's my problem. And it's like, oh, so cool, but you're going to hate yourself for it later.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, so good. I clearly could talk about the Sam Raimi Spider-Man movies all day. So when you're ready to do that episode, I'm down, because I am locked and loaded. My web slingers are full. That was gross.
Spider-Man
I'm
3...
sorry.
Maybe Spider-Man 3 is an airplane movie.
I mean, you're not going anywhere. I mean, technically you are, but I mean, you may as well.
I'm going to be locked. I'm going to be in a prison of my own creation.
Yeah. I mean, you know what, though? When I watched Spider-Man 3, I mean, it had been a long time since I had seen it. And it's different now that we're older. You kind of see it through a different lens. I feel like I kind of get what they were trying to do. You know, I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying, it was great. I was like, no, it still kind of sucks, but I don't hate myself for the feelings I felt coming home from the midnight showing of Spider-Man 3. Bro, that was tough.
I just remember being like, meh.
And it's
just like after Spider-Man 3 and X-Men 3, because they were like a similar, like what, within like a 2-year period of each other. And I just remember being like,
I think, you know, I had been reading a couple articles about this kind of topic, again, which we could do an episode on, about endings and about how, you know, can an ending ever really be truly satisfying? You know, can it really kind of feel that catharsis? You know, and I remember Stephen King commenting on it, because he, as great of a writer as he is, he's also known for writing crap endings. They make a point to reference it in It Part 2, that like King, great ideas, shit endings. And he had said, you know, I just don't think you can satisfy people. People just don't want things to end. And I very politely disagree with that. We're okay with endings because, I mean, we all know things end, but you can tell a quality difference, though. You know, like you look at, again, you know, Spider-Man 1, Spider-Man 3, X-Men 1, X3, Season 1 Game of Thrones, Season, I don't even know, 8 of Game of Thrones. Like, it's, like, when you bring top-notch stuff and then you start to slip, we notice, and that's where we complain, you know?
Yeah, and it's like people trying to get too ambitious when they don't have to.
Well,
and like I get that. Like and Spider-Man 3 wasn't Sam Raimi's idea. Like he said he didn't want Venom in the movie.
Oh no, that was totally.
Was it
Avia Red, the producer there? That was his. He even said now they're like, yeah, that was my fault. My bad.
Mm-hmm. But it is funny seeing Kevin Feige's name on those movies as a producer. So I'm like, oh man, the places you'll go.
Yeah, just starting out. But yeah, but like X3, I think one of my biggest problems was that, like, oh, now there's a cure for mutation. And it's like, well, I don't need these, like, the whole point and beauty of the X-Men is to learning to live in harmony with those that are different from you. And yeah, there have been cures in the comics or whatever, but like, I just didn't like that, we solved mutation. It's like, that's not...
Yeah, that's not the ending we want.
No.
The like ending of X3 could have been like no one major would have had to die. Like they just at the end of the trilogy, you're just like, we are the X-Men. We're here to stay. This is the status quo
Right.
is now this.
We're-
And it's like, hey, if in however many years you want to make more movies, you can, but like this arc is closed.
Yeah, I think the X-Men first arc could have been mutant versus man. Not even necessarily Magneto. And then the second trilogy, fuck, then you could do Apocalypse or some of the more weirder villains. You could step outside the box and do Dark Phoenix for all I care. It was just you're trying to compact so much at the end. It's like, no.
Yeah, and it's like Spider-Man. It's just like do the Harry arc.
Yeah, then get
because that would have had like an emotional resonance to it. It's like the thing of like the WandaVision ending that I loved was just like the emotional impact it had, more so than like the action scene, which was fun. But it's just like it's her and Vision standing in that window as like the world is coming down. It's just like
and it didn't and I feel like if that was a movie, like either like Wanda would have had to have died with them so they could literally close the book. Whereas WandaVision, it had a satisfying conclusion, left the door open for more stuff, and like it was like I feel like you could watch WandaVision and not watch anything else and feel like I got an ending because her learning to accept and live with her grief was the story. And I got there at the end. Cool. But I feel like endings I could talk about also all day. I guess this is... Have we been in the what we've been reading, watching
I guess,
segment?
Yeah, basically.
I was gonna talk
haven't
about,
been reading much.
Oh, dude.
But
I just started reading House of Leaves.
I saw you post pictures of that book, and it looks wild.
It's awesome. So it's written by Mark Z. Danielewski, I think is how I'm pronouncing it. And it's fantastic. I tried to read this a couple of years ago, and it freaked me out, so I'm kind of diving back in. But the premise, like, this book is... I highly recommend you read it. Or maybe not, I don't know, because I know I haven't been batting 1,000 with my recommendations. But I'll give you the premise, you tell me what you think, right? So it's about this fucking dude, this old dude named Sapano, who dies. And one of his neighbors, goes into his apartment, and he's just got all kinds of crazy shit lying around. And one of his buddies, this guy Johnny, finds a manuscript that he wrote. It's like an academic study about a movie called the Navidson Record, and it's this guy who like Paranormal Activity before Paranormal Activity was recording real life shit happening in his house, but rather than it being like supernatural stuff, it's like the house shifting, like the measurements don't add up, like they make a bookcase, right, and when they pull a book out, the books slant over and hit the wall, but then the next time they do it, the books fall off the shelf because the walls are moving, but nobody... It's subtle and it's creepy, and that's what gets me. So you have this guy, Johnny, reading the manuscript about this movie. It's like fucking 3 stories in one. And it's got like Zapano's footnotes, it's got Johnny's footnotes. So like, yeah, it's a story within a story within a story. And then you find out, and it's not really spoiled because it's pretty early on. So this guy was writing about this Navidson Record, this movie. And he's blind. 1, it's like, how can he see this thing? And 2, you find out, again, early on, this movie doesn't exist. These records, all of these, like quotes and like other articles and books, nowhere to be found. And it's like really creepy because it feels so real. It's so well done. But yeah, and it's got like sketches and shit of like what people... like the designs of the house, dude. It's just good. Like it's really good, and it's definitely a book that you have to participate in. Mm-hmm. But it's good. Highly recommend it. That's what I've been reading.
Yeah, I haven't read much. I've just been trying to watch random movies here and there.
Oh yeah, because you got the PlayStation stuff. You don't have to watch.
I don't have to
YouTube
turn the volume
videos.
up and down.
You don't have to what?
I don't have to turn the volume up and down at nighttime.
Oh man, that's gonna be tough. You know what you and Sabina should get is those. I mean, it's expensive, but those AirPods, the Apple AirPods. Apparently, you can like sync that up to your TV.
I know in our bedroom anyway, the Roku app, you can plug your headphones into your phone and listen that way.
I mean, it might be a bad idea. Then you have to worry about the volume.
Yeah. It's not, but it's just not the same, having speakers just being loud.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I'm always aware about my upstairs and downstairs neighbors.
Yeah. But yeah, it's nice because I'm in a house by myself. So I'm like, not that I'm going to shake the neighborhood, but it's like, if there's like an action scene, that's fine.
Yep. No, that's cool. Oh, the other thing I was going to say too, fucking Masters of the Universe on Netflix.
Mm-hmm.
It's 5 episodes. Kevin Smith is the showrunner. I think it's great. I've watched it twice now. The animation's great. The cast is great. You get fucking Sarah Michelle Gellar, Buffy the Vampire Slayer's in it. You get Lena Headey, Lena Headey, who was in Game of Thrones. Cersei Lannister. She's fucking phenomenal in it. She plays Eva Lynn, and it's great. And again, it's 5 episodes. There's more coming out. And the big thing I love too is that so many dude bros hate this show.
So many 30-year-old men complaining about He-Man not being like, it's like, this show changed what we love. I'm like, have you seen He-Man, the original show? First off, it is like,
it's a commercial for toys.
It's a commercial for toys. The stories are terrible.
Which
the animation
works, by the
is
way.
like 10 frames per second.
Yeah.
There is no depth there. It is literally just a shitty 80s cartoon. And it's like, oh no, the main character is a woman. It's like, okay.
I read a great review. Because I know Michelle Gellar plays as a Tessa, I think, one of the main characters. And somebody said that her redesign was grotesque because she's got shorter hair and has muscles. It's like, bro, get the fuck out of here with that.
It's so embarrassing.
It is.
Like, when I see people just like, I'm like, I get it if like you grew up, you loved He-Man, what, Prince Adam, is that the guy's name?
Yeah.
Or something. Like, you just like love that character and he's not a front, like he's not the main character. I get it being bummed out because like you had expectations and stuff, but just like the hours long YouTube videos that I see pop up that are just like Kevin Smith, social justice warrior, ruining He-Man. I'm just like, what? I think He-Man kind of ruined itself by just always being goofy. Like,
yeah,
I have no emotional attachment to that property. Like, it was popular when I was younger, it was popular before I was old enough to even care.
Yeah.
I liked some of the toys because they were cool action figures.
Well, and see, that's the thing. Like, okay, so another thing to check out on Netflix is a documentary. I think it's called The Power of Grayskull. And it's a documentary about He-Man. And in a nutshell, Mattel was looking for the next big thing for toys, right? And they're like, well, we could do like soldiers, or there's like cowboys. They're talking to, studios. Like, oh, there's going to be, like Clash of the Titans. And then they said no to a little independent art house movie called Star Wars that Kenner said yes to. And Kenner didn't even have fucking figures yet. Like, here's the funny thing. Like, in the 70s...
Well, that's why the original Star Wars figures are so tiny and, like, shitty.
Well, and also, too, like, you know what? Like, that Christmas of 77, you didn't get a figure. You got a fucking coupon that said, like, hey, we owe you toys. And that sold so much money, and Mattel had these toys that wasn't doing anything, so they're like, okay, what can we make that's like Star Wars but without having to like pay a studio money for the licensing? He-Man was like a story created to sell figures. And yeah, I mean it's
so I'm
commercial.
like, I have no baggage going into this. So I feel like I'm in the prime spot to watch that show.
Me too, because I had the toys, so I thought they looked cool. Like, the Grayskull playset was fucking
Castle
dope.
Grayskull, Skeletor's cool looking.
Yeah.
My knowledge of He-Man is just like memes in like YouTube videos where people dub over the horrible animation.
Dude's a beefy beefcake. I mean, he with like hairy underwear, which is fine. I'm okay with the design, but I mean, I feel like the Kevin Smith stuff definitely adds a lot more depth. I mean, He-Man. I mean, but there's a reason why it's called Masters of the Universe and not He-Man. I think it's a great chance for the other supporting characters to step forward, and I loved it. I mean, when I found it was 5 episodes, I was bummed. Like, oh man, I gotta wait for the next round of episodes. But I think it's really, really good. It's got a strong cast, great animation. I think the writing is great. Yeah, I mean, it's just those are my.
I'm sure I'll check it at some point because it's such a short little package.
Yeah, it's 20. It's like what? It's like 5 25-minute episodes. Like
maybe I'll watch that.
Yeah,
at work on Thursday. I'll be there by myself with nothing to do.
Yeah, or next time you go take a shit, watch it on your iPhone. Like whatever. Like it's great. It's fun no matter wherever you are or what you're doing. Hey man, now streaming on Netflix. But the Power of Grayskull documentary, that's pretty cool too. And that's it, I think, as far as recommendations go. But I was really excited about House of Leaves. I think Angela was maybe even thinking about having that as a book club at some point.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Coming down.
I think a lot of people, too, I think they look at House of Leaves and they're like, oh, it's too daunting. I'm not smart enough. Dude, I mean, fuck, you know me. I'm not building rocket ships anytime soon, and I'm enjoying it. You know? But nothing on your end. I'm sorry, I feel like I've been like a chatty Cathy this.
No, I mean, like I said, I watched the Spider-Man movies. I watched Inception. I watched Gunpowder Milkshake on Netflix with like Karen Gillan.
Oh, I want to see that. That also with Lena Headey.
Yeah, so it's like it's kind of like John Wick, but with women, basically.
Well, I'm sold on that premise.
It's played very like they kind of all speak like they're in a 1940s like film noir type thing.
Kind of like Brick.
Kind of like Brick, yeah. It's fun. It's a fun movie. The action's fun and stuff. I wouldn't put it on the same level as John Wick. Clearly, they did not have like the
stunt team or the stunt coordinators.
But I don't know. It was a really good. I had a good time. It was fun.
It's all that matters, man.
Yeah.
All that matters. All right. Well, I'll definitely put that onto the list. I just wish I could remember other stuff I was watching, but I'll say that for the next episode. But in the meantime, for those listening, 1, thank you for listening. 2, be safe. As Rob and I were saying, the world is on fire. How about yours? Quoting Smash Mouth. But definitely make sure to, wear a mask. Just don't be a dummy, please. And be good to yourself and be good to others, and have fun exploring the multiverse. Oh yeah, and give us some fucking love on iTunes.
Yeah, do that.